Okay. He's switching to live.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. The subject of this roundtable discussion today is unlocking the methane emission reduction potential biogas for a climate resilient Bangladesh. We are here gathered uh, experts from different fields, the different people from different organizations who are working on this biogas things. So we'll be discussing on the potential of biogas project in Bangladesh. If we look around India, Vietnam, or several other countries, that we'll see that Bangladesh is lacking behind.
Invite. I'm really looking forward to learning a lot from each of you and participating in this conversation. So ACDI VOCA and its companies of for-profit and non-profit organizations is an international organization who aims to empower people to succeed in a global economy. We do this by helping people and communities improve their lives through economic prosperity and social inclusion. We've worked in over 150 countries over the last 60 years. We have a very strong record here in Bangladesh in the livestock sector, starting with 15 years ago with our LPIN project, and now, of course, with our US Feed the Future livestock and nutrition activity. Our goal with LAN is to create lasting change by sustainably increasing livestock productivity, marketability, and consumption of meat and milk products. This translates to improved nutrition and income to 1 million livestock producing households and businesses in the 23 southwestern districts. Livestock sector here in Bangladesh faces several challenges, as you well know. Low productivity, high greenhouse gas emissions, pollution, and health risks from improper manure management. We are here today gathered with the private sector, academia, financial institutions, government, and regulators in order to look at the opportunities and challenges that we face in the biogas for climate change sector here in Bangladesh. Each of you has a different role in this important conversation, and I look forward to hearing about your contributions and coming forward how you can be looking at the future of changing policy as well as implementation of all of the tools needed to unlock the methane emission reduction potential here in Bangladesh. So thank you very much for the invite. Back to you.
Thank you, Sylvia. Thank you so much. In fact, আমরা জানি যে বাংলাদেশ একটা হাইলি পপুলাস কান্ট্রি, বাট এটার লাইভস্টক সেক্টরও অনেক বিশাল। এটা একই সঙ্গে আমাদের অর্থনীতিতে খুবই গুরুত্বপূর্ণ ভূমিকা রাখছে এবং একই সঙ্গে তার কিছু চ্যালেঞ্জ এবং সমস্যা আছে, যেটা সিলভিয়া তার বক্তব্যে ইনিশিয়াল বক্তব্যে কিছুটা মেনশন করেছে। সো আমরা এই বিষয়ে আরও একটু ডিটেইল জানার জন্যে আমাদের একটা কিনোট স্পিচ, একটা পেপার প্রেজেন্টেশন হবে। মিস্টার নুরুল আমিন সিদ্দিকী, যিনি এসিডিআই ভোকার বাংলাদেশ চিফ, তাকে রিকোয়েস্ট করছি কিনোট প্রেজেন্টেশনটা দেওয়ার জন্য। মিস্টার সিদ্দিকী।
Okay, so I'll present a few slides, and starting with the generous support of USAID through the Feed the Future Bangladesh livestock and nutrition activity. Sylvia already have spoken that, you know, in terms of our goals, this is a 5-year activity, and we're also looking at milk productivity and meat productivity, but you know, increased sales for farming communities in the southwest Bangladesh. But one of our key areas of improvement is also around environmental management and risk mitigation, because there's so many millions of households who are producing you know, significant amount of waste each and every day. And as Sylvia was pointing out, that there is a health hazard. There is, you know, many other, you know, hazard from zoonotic diseases that come from animals to human. We are actually talking about a lot of the health issues more recently. But more than that is really about the opportunity that it produces for Bangladesh. Like how can these waste can be transformed into wealth, and that's where we are going to focus in today's conversation. Next slide, please. Yeah, so I think the room here does have a lot of knowledge in terms of the methane and the potential emission or the effect of methane. It's 23 times more effective than carbon dioxide at trapping heat, and it's a major concern now all over the world, and it also potential concern for the livestock industry actors. And some of the data here shows like how much we are emitting on an annual basis from the livestock. It's about over 66,000 gigatons per year of carbon dioxide equivalent in 2018, but it's the projection is that by 2050 the emission will go up to 113,000 gigatons per year. And I already talked about some of the real life consequences of not managing the waste well in the communities, and the contamination threats of our water and other important natural resources. Next slide, please. Yeah, so I think you were going to talk about a lot on the barriers that there are a number of solutions that has been pushed by many different organizations, and when it comes to how the real adopters, like at the farming household level, we see that there's still very limited awareness of the solutions that is available, or how these solutions can actually change their lives. There are high upfront costs for most of the prototype, and that remains a major challenge for the uptake. And then comes with it the readily available financing. If the prototype cost is higher and the financing is not available, it's a burden. And then the traditional waste management practices, it doesn't only pollute the environment, but at the same time it poses significant threat to the human who are dealing with it on a daily basis. And then we will talk about a lot of supportive policies. We're putting an example from our neighboring countries that how supportive policies can transform such sectors. And we have a great example in India that we're going to talk a little bit about as well. And let's look at the immense potential that I was also going to, I was saying that the livestock populations, we have one of the largest livestock populations in South Asia, and also, around the world. But then, only if we look into the large and small ruminants, there are 50 million large and small ruminants in this country. Obviously, this changes with the sacrificial event and others, but we are expanding or increasing our number of animals. And therefore, the waste that generates from it can also be seen as like a valuable resource, what is available. And biogas plants have already kind of proved it at the community level, that how it converts manure into, clean cooking fuel. Every single households we have visited around the country who have a biogas, installed at their home, was always so appreciative of the services they receive from it. Not just at the cooking fuel, but also the slurry, the organic manure, and some of the economic gain from it in terms of income. And as you know, that we are always talking about the lack of organic matter in our soil, how our soil are depleted from organic content. And this is the greatest source that farmers have right in their household. So this treated slurry is even better as an organic household, as an organic matter, and it does have a lot of circularity aspects. You know, some of our attendees today will talk about the prospects around the organic fertilizer market. Next, please. Yeah, so we produces about 125 million tons of livestock and urban waste each year, and which could generate, you know, a significant amount of biogas for cooking and electricity. And the research found that biogas adoption has led to reduction in household reliance on firewood, which is connected to larger environmental degradation. And it's also a major contributor to indoor air pollution. And definitely mitigating this through, you know, biodigester solutions translates to improved health outcomes, especially for women and girl children who traditionally manages cooking duties. So we have a lot of data available about the health risk and how this kind of solutions can improve, you know, and help us mitigate those challenges. Next, please. Yeah, so learning from the neighboring success story, you know, by no means I'm trying to compare Bangladesh with India. It's a very different scenarios. But even where I'm trying to bring your attention is that how some of the national bioenergy scheme has put India in a situation where, you know, they are able to utilize so much of the energy for greater prosperity, and leading to some of the bioenergy scheme like Gobardhan scheme was also introduced, a 10,000 crore you know, investments looking into how they can keep their villages clean. There can be more plans around biogas established so they can serve a greater number of households and communities. And doing that through a, you know, a coordinated policy measures and really pushing it through the community-driven initiatives, because those are the backbones of where this kind of technology can be, you know, uptaken. So it's advanced technology, but it's also about whether the community structures are, you know, streamlining it through all their investments and planning. And then other supportive initiatives are subsidies provided, training programs, and community ownership initiatives that drives this widespread adoption. And according to the World Biogas Association, so far India has now installed over 5 million biogas plants as of you know, last year, generating approximately 4 million cubic meters of biogas per day. Next one. So what we saw, like, you know, we need leadership for a sustainable future, and government certainly plays a big role, a catalytic role, but by creating those supporting policies and financial incentives, and understand the private sector constraints who wants to bring more investment and leverage more investments in this industry, and also supporting research and development. We have a number of academies here, and I'm sure they will be talking about it. We have private sector in the room who are trying to innovate in technology design. We have some new prototypes available. There are financing models that they're trying. There are outreach programs that is already in place, and to make the biogas solution more accessible and available, and especially for rural communities. We have seen all these installations in the rural communities, and private sector are an important player there. NGOs and civil societies has also played you know, many role as you know, some of the partners as partners, but also about awareness, promoting behavior change and capacity building, for example, rural agents who could you know, operate and provide support services. We have in the room some of the, you know, financial institutions who have For example, Eat Call for Decades, design financial products, engage a lot of partners from the NGO sector and also from the private sector. And I think we'll hear more about other opportunities around blended financing that we are looking at around the biogas projects. And we do have research institutes who are very much active in also looking at the feedback, the optimization, many other renewable sources, and also looking into technologies that could better harness the biogas and the bioslurry. Next, please. So we are really talking about, how can we ignite a biogas revolution? And in order to do that, we need to, understand that how this sector holds the power to mitigate climate change, and then particularly the negative climate change impact, not just by reducing methane emissions, but also offering clean energy to the most needed populations in the country, and also in a more inclusive way that improves health of women and girls. And then also improve public health. We talked about the improved health outcomes and reducing our reliance on wood and some of these other polluting fuels that rural communities are currently used as for cooking purposes. And this is a
রাউন্ড টেবিলে আমরা সব জায়গা থেকে প্রতিনিধিত্ব আছি সো